Welcome to Alpha Centurion. I'll be your guide. Today I would like to speak to you about convergence. Not the DC comic that was terrible, but the convergence from the Witcher series. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I couldn't tell you why. But the fact that the author was still trying to figure out the order of the convergence in the first two novels of the original Witcher series is very interesting to me. Obviously, if you go back now and read the prequel novels, he already has everything set up, so those inconsistencies don't seem so blatant. But let's think about what Andres was talking about. So he has in the Blood of Elves and in Time of Contempt, the elves saying that they were there before the humans. And then you have later novels saying that the convergence happened on the continent where humans already existed. And this is kind of, this change, this kind of different perspective is kind of begun in Geralt's fight against one of the mages, where kind of before the day before the fight, or the party before the fight, or whatever, in the earlier day, I guess, he gives him an offer, and he's talking about the ancient sorcerers, who were the first sorcerer, the first magician, and the first, the first wizards and all that kind of stuff, and how it had to do with elfin blood, or elder blood. And whether or not elfin blood and elder blood are the same, it's also not clear yet, but as I said, as the series goes on, things start to get more defined. But I was thinking about the convergence, and to me, I just think it's an interesting idea. What if all the creatures and beings were the original creature in their respective world, and the continent was actually these little pieces of land, these little breaches that connected together? So each convergence is a different reality that connects. And then that got me to thinking, well, why do the elves then have to be elves? Why do the vampires have to be vampires? We're, as English readers, we're taking this translation, we're using the terms that are being translated, but if you go to the original language and the original myths, that the Scandinavian myths that Andres is looking at, the vampire doesn't directly translate, werewolf, maybe the werewolf does, but a lot of the creatures are unique to that culture. I think about the Baba Yaga. That's a very specific monster that doesn't really translate well. So when people translate that creature into things like Lost Girl, they use the Baba Yaga. They don't even bother trying to give the American fairy tale equivalent or European fairy tale equivalent. Where am I going with this? What if the convergence, instead of it being different mythical creatures, which I know that's what Andres was doing, he was using fairy tale and myth, but let's just go a little further. Let's take this word real seriously. They're aliens. So they're different creatures from different planets, from different realities, connecting with this reality, or with the reality of humans. They're aliens. They're each alien creatures to each other. I just thought that was kind of cool. Like, instead of seeing elves as the Scourgetel, see little green men. Instead of the dryads, seeing Greek, Roman and Greek dryads and water nymphs. See alien creatures, they talk about the Witcher mutating. Well, if all these different realities and different environments that would take for these alien creatures to exist, how would that affect the human physiology? So yeah, you would have quote unquote witches. You would have quote unquote witchers, mutants. If these new bacteria, new conditions for each type of species to survive, to continue on. Which made me also wonder about like the animal life and the wildlife. I know they could say maybe the dragons and the raverns and some of them could be that, but the microbiology would be different. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. That's my thought on the convergence. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Peace, like, and subscribe. Talk to you all later.